Good morning, YouTube. I'm going to give you my narrative story for yesterday, which was Thursday the 15th of June. So I started off, I was looking to get a job from a pickup in Stockport, then Sheffield, and then going down to Banbury, sorry. So I didn't find a job from where I tramped the night before, so I just did the 30 dead miles to go to my first pickup in Stockport. I left at 8:30 in the morning. I did look for jobs, but there was nothing around. And I did my first pickup in Stockport, and I finished that by 5 to 10. 9:55. I then drove 42 miles to my second pickup in Sheffield, and I finished that at 11:40. And then my plan was to head down to my third pickup in Banbury before dropping off in High Wycombe. But that plan got changed. I managed to secure a co-load. I put on my notes that I was carrying stuff on board, and as I was passing Chesterfield, a load came up going to Slough. So, change of plan. I went to Chesterfield. I was 5 minutes from the pickup point when I got the job. It was really fortunate. Just off the motorway. There was a problem because the actual address the shipper had given me was incorrect, so it took me about 10 minutes to find the actual place. But what a great find. And that co-load was for 147 miles, and I bid £110. It was a small wheelbase, no, a small van job. It was basically one pallet. If you're wondering, that turned out to be 75 pence per mile, which I was happy with as a co-loaded rate. It just added a bit more to my money for this week, and I did need it. So, rather than go to Banbury, because if I had gone to Banbury, I would have then been stopping. I mean, Banbury is on the way from Chesterfield to Slough. Technically, I could have gone to Banbury, picked up my pickup, and gone to Slough, but to me, that's against the spirit of my co-loading. My co-loading is, it's a direct A to B service, it's just I've got something else on board at the same time. So I didn't want to muddy the waters, and I said that in my notes, I said that on the phone when I spoke to the shipper. I have got something to say about the shipper that I used. I did actually have to query with them the actual loads, because I was given in my notes 15 items to collect, and I've got into the habit now of doing 3 things before I turn the ignition and leave at a collection point. So I'll share as a little tip for those people who are new my 3 trigger words and what they mean. Trigger words that I used to remember are postcode, strap and load. So for me, postcode means double check that I've put the postcode into my sat nav correctly before I set off. Strap for me just means make sure I've secured the load correctly. And load for me means check I've got the correct items. And so the third thing, checking about the load, when I checked it, I only had 14 items. So I did ring the shipper. I checked with the the picking place first, and they said to me there was only 14 items on the order. So then I called the shipper and I tried to say to them, there's 14, I've been told there's 14 on the order, there's 15 on the notes, what should I do? And this is my feedback about this particular shipper. The person that I spoke to who gave me the job wasn't available. When I spoke to the person who answered the phone, they didn't seem to know who the person was who I named. They didn't really understand what I was saying. I don't think their English was great. So I was trying to explain to them, I've got a question about a number of items on my load, and they were just very, very unhelpful. Not rude in any way, they were very polite, just didn't give me any guidance whatsoever. And so what they ended up doing was saying, oh yes, okay, it's 14 items then. And I wasn't trying to say to them, I'm telling you it's 14. I was trying to say, the customer's saying it's 14, or the collection point is saying it's 14, can you check with the customer? Because I have been in this situation before, the customer is not the person I'm collecting from, it's the person I'm delivering to. So they might be expecting 15 items for all I know. So I did try and contact the shipper, which is what we all should do, but in this particular example it was a complete waste of my time. So I went back to the collection point and I asked them to give me a copy of the order, and on the order paperwork it did say 14 items. So for me that was good enough. Okay, so I took that load down to Slough, got caught up in some traffic as you always do on the M1, M25 going down. So I ended up, I didn't finish unloading until 4:15. I then popped across to High Wycombe from Slough to drop off the 2 pickups I had taken up that morning from Stockport and Sheffield, and my plan now was to go up to Banbury and then across to Bideford. But it was at this point in time, it was about 6 o'clock, I'm guessing. So I made a mistake. No, it's 6 o'clock ish. No, maybe it's half past. I can't remember. It's about 5:45. And I made a mistake at this point. I mean, I make mistakes every single day in this job. But this mistake was, rather than just taking a moment to think about my situation, I just headed straight off to do my plan, which is to go to Banbury and then go to Bideford. And just to get as far as I could last night to save time this morning. And I was looking for jobs, but as I got onto I think it's the M4 might be M40 actually, off High Wycombe going west towards Banbury. I got a job going from, a job came up that was going from Fleetham, to Bristol. And I thought, that'd be a great job for me to do. I could go there and do the Bideford, Bristol to Banbury jobs back tomorrow. So I had to circle back on the motorway. I must have done about 15 miles to get back to where I was. And in the end, I didn't get the job from Feltham to Bristol. But I'm glad I did that because it made me think about what I was doing. And I thought a better plan would be to stay where I was, look for any job going westwards that night, and then try and make a bit more money. So I went to Beaconsfield Services and I sat there looking for jobs, had a bit of a break, and nothing came up. A couple of things came up that could have worked, but nothing came up in the end. So about 7:30 I decided that I would find a tramping spot. But I'd still decided that actually if something came up in the next hour, I'd still take it and go head west. So I kept the feed on, kept looking, and I travelled to my tramping place, which was about 10 minutes away, about 5 miles from where Beaconsfield Services. I found some really nice, as I was driving there, I found some really nice tramping spots for next time I'm in the area, which weren't on Park for the Night app. And one thing that I did do, I suppose a little tip, it's not really that big, but something I started to do yesterday, was I've used What 3 Words app, and I've started to save tramping sites as saved places in that app. So as I go around and find places I like, I'll save them so I can quickly find them in the future. Yeah, so I didn't find a job last night, so my plan was to tramp and then try and find work this morning, going from west of London towards Bideford, and then my plan is to get the Bideford, Bristol and Banbury pickups, go back to High Wycombe before the depot closes tonight, and then if I can get a job from there to home, but I don't necessarily need to for the money. It would just make a brilliant week if I did. A little update from last night. I didn't do my video last night because I was waiting to see if I got another job and was heading like late last night. I thought about doing it on the way from Beaconsfield to a tramping site, but I thought I might just get another job. I was being quite optimistic, so I thought I'd do it in the morning instead. So therefore I will do a video tonight for today. I will in a moment give you my figures, but before I do that for yesterday, I would like to tell you a couple of things from yesterday that I wanted to share with you, just little things about my journey as a courier. So the first thing was, yesterday I really enjoyed my work yesterday. It was nice weather, I was earning money, I was moving, I just felt really happy about doing my job. So I want to share that with you, because sometimes it can be a tough job, but sometimes it's a really nice job. And in my good mood yesterday, I had for the first time I had an idea about something I could do, and I'm going to share that with you at this point. It might not go anywhere, and it is not something that is unique. But it's something for me that's a big step for me. And I suppose I probably would say the main influence for this thought was the videos I've been watching recently from what I call the 4 Fs. That's Fucking Freight and Freddy Fetcher. There's been a couple of videos they've done where they've been looking at expanding their businesses, and I've been inspired to some extent by them. And this day I was thinking, why don't I actually try and get my own customers? I had discounted that as an option because I just didn't have the confidence to do it. I'm just using the CX for my work because I have no contacts in the logistics industry, and I'm not very good at social networking, and not very confident in social networking. So for me, the CX system is a great start to get into this job. But there are days where there isn't enough work for me where I am. And I thought I could put a flyer together. I could probably pluck up the courage to go around the businesses that are just local to where I live, just literally within a mile or two of my house, just go around and flyer them and just see how that goes. Just offering at this point a service for very local businesses, but going anywhere in the country. So doing what I do, but looking for customers that are really local to me. So I can kind of, maybe that can be my selling point, that I am local to you. I can be really close to you. I don't know. I've not really thought about that much. And then. And the other thing I thought of was, I can't really, if I get a customer that's gives me daily work, I can't deal with daily work. I can't have a big customer. So really, but there are customers that might just do work once a week or once a month. So really, they're what I want. It's just smaller customers that do. If I can have a customer that gives me work one day a week, would be a really good advantage. So I might not do it, but now I've said it out loud to you guys, it's going to have to, I'm more accountable now, I'm going to have to take it more seriously. So anyway, that was what I thought about yesterday, so I'm sharing that with you. Okay, so my stats for yesterday. Oh yeah, I've noticed when I listen to my voice on this video, I do sound quite high pitched, I think, and also I think I rush quite a lot. So I'm trying very much I'm trying to remember now to speak more slowly and more clearly, and that's going to take a lot of effort to try and get to that point. Right. Anyway, stats for yesterday. So in total, it was quite a long day. It was all right. 11 and a half hours I did 285 miles, and I paid for fuel £36.11. Because I only completed one job, that was the co-loaded job, I only earned £110 yesterday, but I did do 2/3 of one other job which I'm going to finish today, and therefore my net earnings yesterday after fuel was £74. Okay, this morning, just as an update, I woke up very early, 6 o'clock, well, I probably woke up at 5 o'clock, and I was looking at my bids coming through from where I was, and loads of bids came through from where I was in the Beaconsfield area, but nothing suitable for me. I was looking to go west towards Bideford, nothing even remotely doing that, until I was just about to leave, and I got a job going from Swindon to Ilfracombe, and I did it. It's a large wheelbase, it's up to 3 pallets, and it's a collection at 10 o'clock, so I had time to get it. I should be getting there for 9:30, and I got £140 accepted for that, for a total of just double check this, 150 miles on the CX, so a bit less than £1 a mile, but for me, I did it lower to win a very ideal job for me, going in the direction I've got to go in anyway. It's a really good rate for me. It's a long wheelbase job. It's the right time, the right place, the right destination. So it's pretty much, I couldn't have asked for something better for this morning. The only thing I'm not sure about, I haven't had time to check it, is how far from Ilfracombe is Bideford. But it's EX34 going to EX39, so it can't be that far. We'll see. Okay, I like to end on lessons that I've learned and a tip. I'm going to draw. I'm not going to put lessons in on this, other than I suppose the lesson I learned was about me perhaps looking at getting my own customers and doing something about it. But my tip, just for those who are new, just a short little tip before I go, is I always, and I recommend that if you're new to this, you always do this as well, and I always take a photograph of the load in my van secured up and put it on the CX system, and I always try to remember to take a photo of the load when I've dropped it off in its location at its warehouse or with the customer. I think as a driver that's really good practice. Right, thank you very much for listening to my video. I will see you again tonight after what I think will be a very good day, if it all goes to plan, fingers crossed. What have you learned today?